Music is the perfect tool for developing self-confidence. Number one, we need to feel as comfortable as we can. And we do this by controlling our skill and our situation. Recognize the real goal: to communicate your emotion. Confidence can be greatly improved when you practice to minimize the technical limitations that create a lack of freedom on your instrument or your voice. In other words, you've got to prepare yourself to be comfortable on stage, to improve the technical elements that stop you from communicating your emotions. The expression suppressors. If there's a song you're playing and there's a really hard bit, what about it is hard? A bit of self-critique is required in the practice room. Those are the parts that are bringing you into your technique and away from the emotional connection. We should be thinking about the meaning of the song and interaction, engagement, because that's what the audience connect with. They just want to feel something. So you got to feel something. You must feel comfortable with what you're doing to convey emotion. When you know you're comfortable, you're more likely to feel confident. And then you have to think about some other elements that you can plan ahead for to feel the ultimate comfort on stage. Instrument maintenance, making sure your instrument feels good to play. Put new strings on. Give it a clean. Sound check, just making sure that you feel good on stage. You can hear everything really clearly. Cues and timing. You're mentally rehearsing the exits and entries. Have you got the tempo of the start of each song memorized? A backup plan. Are you running tracks on a laptop? You might need a backup laptop just in case it system overloads. What are you going to wear? Deciding on something that you feel cool in and also is functional. So this is making sure you're comfortable in the skill you're presenting, and also you're comfortable in the situation that you're in. Step 2, lower your expectations for perfection. It's when you have such a high expectation of yourself for perfection that your performance just never lives up to what you want. Your expectation of yourself leads to judgment of yourself in the moment. So then you go down this funnel of having expectations of perfection, then failing to meet those expectations, judging yourself for that, which leads to self-doubt and a lack of confidence. The moment you get on stage and you realize that you're not meeting the high expectations you set for yourself, you start to get in your own head about it. Oh no, I fucked up. Oh shit. You're in your head instead of in your music, instead of feeling the energy, which means your world is revolving around you. And it's very hard to tell the story that you're trying to tell and convince the audience of your emotion. Comparison is the thief of joy. Theodore Roosevelt. It's so easy to perceive our idols as being the perfect performers, but they have imperfections as well. Most performing artists have had to go through a long period where they've just sucked on stage, doing it again and again and again and again, so they can become comfortable with exactly where they're at any one time. Lowering the expectations of yourself gives your mental well-being priority over the perfection of the performance, which trains confidence and resilience. And when you lower your expectations of yourself, you give yourself a free ticket to mess up. So messing up doesn't seem like such a scary thing to do. You become more confident because you're more realistic. It's a form of compassion for self to not expect perfection. That leads to number 3, accept and embrace where you're at right now. Your ability is always changing. So we shouldn't really rely on our skill level to give us confidence. It can certainly help, but that's why the next step is required. Radical self-acceptance. Become punk. Being punk brought a whole new level of acceptance around technical musical skill, about authentic expression. Punk music is a style of music, but punk is an attitude. Non-musicians can be punk. Buddhist monks are punk. Punk is radical self-acceptance, then radical self-expression. People connect with authenticity. Skill level doesn't matter. What does matter is your ability to wholeheartedly commit yourself to your performance. The ability to immerse yourself in the moment. Think of artists like Leonard Cohen, whose voice was totally unique, but not because he was particularly melodic all the time. His goal was not to impress you with his voice or vocal stamina. He wanted to communicate his ideas as an authentic artist, despite what you thought of him. So Leonard Cohen was punk. There's a book called Effortless Mastery by Kenny Werner, and he's a piano master. And he says, believe every single note that you play is the most beautiful note ever. And when you can believe that, you'll make beautiful music. Improvisation is the perfect playground for self-acceptance and therefore for building confidence. So being aware that radical self-acceptance leads to a convincing performance increases our confidence when we step out on stage. Because you know that all you have to do is love what you're doing. That's it. Just love what you're playing. You've got to brainwash yourself into believing there are no wrong notes. They're all beautiful. They're all correct. And they're all right. Step 4, focus on the audience. The performance is not about you. It's about the audience. When you approach a performance from a place of fear, you'll behave in a way that invites discomfort from the audience. You're already approaching the performance from a place of selfishness. They'll judge me. I'm not good enough. Me. But when you flip the emphasis from you to your audience, you learn that you're offering an act of service. You could help someone out there. You could inspire someone. You could make them want to make music. You could make someone think of their loved ones, cry because of a lost friend. Music has a different value for every single person. But it's difficult for the audience to gain value when your intention isn't to give value. So make your intention to give value. Make sure your performance comes from a place of love instead of fear. With an emphasis on allowing the audience to experience their emotions and to experience fun. Genuine service. So to increase your confidence, you have to increase comfort. You have to lower expectations for perfection. You have to accept and embrace where you're currently at. And then you have to flip your focus towards the audience instead of yourself. I hope this helps you rethink how you might approach your next performance. Thank you for watching Reframe. I'm Rob. Bye.